When a white government Land Rover made its way to house number 64 in Buruburu Thursday morning, it signified the end of 564 long days for the Yesse family. But it was only when 32-year-old Mule Yesse slowly alighted from the vehicle that the reality that he was indeed alive, home and free from the hands of the Somali Al-Shabaab insurgents sunk in for family members. For his father, Edward Yesse, though, it was much, much more as he sunk into the arms of the first man he saw. Finally, if his body language is anything to go by, letting go of all the pain and hurt and strength he had held together until today. And as family members sang songs of praise, he and his son remained in a long emotional embrace, refusing to let go, if only to cover the distance and time spent apart. Once inside the house, a grateful father addresses the media.
Thank you, Kenyans. I know even from the diaspora, I've seen so many messages. Thank you, Kenyans, for rallying behind this family.
It may have looked like an intrusion by a battalion of journalists at a time when all this family wanted was to be with their son. For Edward, though, this moment only reaffirmed the miracle that had taken place in this household, a miracle he wanted the whole world to witness.
I vowed that once my son comes back after some rest, I will take him round. I will show Kenyans that my son is actually alive.
Compared to this previous picture that was used to tell his story, Mule Yesse now looks smaller, pale, months of captivity having taken a toll on his body.
By around 6 na 7, wanakuja wana knock. When they knock, you are supposed to close your eyes. There you have whatever, you close your eyes. You close your eyes, you are taken to the toilet, which is ID. Toilet is just about kukojoa na haja kubwa.
But never his spirit. Mule says the experience that saw them locked up in a dark room the entire 19 months has changed him.
You start seeing life differently. You stop assuming life. You start realizing life is short. You start realizing there's so much you have not done in life. You start realizing there's so much you want to do in life.
When we ask about his everyday life in captivity, Mule describes it in one word: monochrome.
Days were basically dark days, black days, days without color. You wake up and you can't see color.
How were they being treated?
No specialties, no brushing, no nothing. I think
Mule says prayer was an integral part of their days in captivity in the small room he shared with colleague Fredrick Wainaina from the Registrar of Persons in Wajir South District, until that day when their much-sought freedom was finally granted.
At that point when we were taken to the border, and it is at that point that our chains were removed, then these guys told us, you're going to be free.
Mule, who maintains he was not converted by the insurgents, remained objective when asked of the opinion of his captives. Will he return to his position as district officer in Wajir after all is said and done?
Why will I be afraid? I'm a man.
The same emotions witnessed by family and friends of Fredrick Irongo at the government's office earlier today. The government, on its part, has pledged its commitment in supporting the families as the transition process back to normalcy commences.
I want to say that the government will continue to support the families, to support our officers as they go through recovery phase. We will avail counseling services and other support services that the families and our officers will need. We will allow them sufficient time to rest until they are fully recovered. And we want to reiterate that their jobs are safe, and that when they are ready to resume duty, we will post them to to the stations of their choice.
Finally, home sweet home for Mule Yesse and Fredrick Wainaina. And even as family, friends and the media bombard them with questions like how it was for them and how it feels to be back home, for these two men, all they want to do right now is savor the fact that they're just home, safe and sound. Evelyn Wambui, Citizen TV in Nairobi.